Attempt number 2 at filming this. Should be good, right? Second time's always better. Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're here for a different type of video that I don't film this kind of content very often, and I'm not saying it's something I'm going to start doing, but it's just been something that I have been writing about a lot and thinking about a lot, and so I wanted to share it with you, basically. So today I'm just going to hop into it, surprise surprise, and say hello. Today I'm giving you 5 things to think about and keep in mind when you are trying to transition or thinking about embracing more of a minimalist or simple living lifestyle. This is a lifestyle and living decision and method I have been reading about and I guess studying essentially for about over 4 years now. I don't want to necessarily say I've been actually practicing it for 4 years, but I have been studying it for quite a long time. It is something that heavily intrigues me and something I really do like to bring pieces into my life and implement them where possible. That is all I'm saying on that. We're just gonna hop into these 5 things that I think you should keep in mind when you're researching this. If you are even in years of doing this, things that still might be good to kind of remind yourself and think about when you're doing these things. Okay, a lot of these are gonna overlap and be kind of duh for some people, but there's also plenty of people out there who I think get overwhelmed by all of the information and all of the societal or internet versions of these lifestyles. So here we go, let's get started. With minimalism and simple living, obviously the idea is to have items that can be reused, and online, especially if you follow any Instagram minimal people or even sometimes in the blogging world, often there are products being pushed that are like, this is the minimal life product that will completely make you a minimalist, and this is like when you know you've reached it because you purchased this starter pack for being a minimalist. I want to say, yes, do those products work? I'm sure they do because they're reusable, but that's really the point. That's it. There is no certain product that makes you a minimalist or anything of the sort, and I think a lot of people forget that a lot of the items you already own can probably be used for that same purpose. Throughout the process, I'd say first think, what do you own? What purpose does it serve you? Can it serve you the purpose that you need, or do you need to go out and get something new? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. But always look first at what you have instead of just going out and buying the fancy new thing right away, if that is something that you truly do value, is not creating waste. On top of decluttering in general, decluttering, owning less, using what you have, the idea, obviously decluttering is such an exciting thing. I will dive into that in another topic. Decluttering is super exciting, it's super fun, and it seems to be the first step that everyone takes, which makes sense because we own so many belongings that are unnecessary. But the thing a lot of people don't touch on, in my opinion, especially when people get started, is the idea, in addition to decluttering, is to take in less. And I think there's kind of become this it's obviously very fun to get rid of things. It's very fun to watch other people get rid of things, but I've noticed a lot online in videos and whatnot that the theme is to declutter a ton, which is very exciting, very thrilling, very addictive to watch and be a part of. But then months later, a similar huge declutter is occurring, which I'm not saying that's not possible if you are in the process of turning into this lifestyle, but I also think a lot of people are using it as yes, it feels great, but they're using it as an excuse to purchase way more to replace that emptiness. That kind of defeats the purpose of the whole thing. I'm obviously not saying you can't purchase anything new for yourself, but I just think we need to really keep in mind what we're bringing in the first place and if that's necessary, and that should be a huge focus in addition to the what's in my space currently and what do I not need anymore. The idea of minimalism and simplifying should not just be object related, and I'm not saying I just want this to be a reminder, because obviously it's very easy to understand the concept of minimalizing your space and minimalizing your objects, and I don't think it's as easy to understand the concept of minimalizing your life essentially and your mentality and your relationships. It's necessary, obviously. It should just be about the idea of the things around you bringing you joy, happiness, making you feel good, and trying your best to eliminate the things or adjust things that don't make you happy. So that can be something as simple as like writing down all the tasks you do in a day, seeing what you put your time towards. Are they necessary? Do they make you happy? Do they make you feel good? And trying to adjust your schedule and lifestyle based on those decisions, thoughts, what makes you feel good, what doesn't. That can be as drastic as relationships in your life that aren't bringing you happiness, aren't healthy for you to be a part of, and whether that means working on them or finding ways to separate, in a sense, create space so that you aren't putting yourself in that sort of situation if possible. I know there's so many scenarios, but it is about other things and kind of what you put in your brain and what you're letting yourself think about and stick to, and it's all sorts of things. Back to decluttering. I know almost all of this has been decluttering, but I just feel like that is something huge that a lot of people focus on. And I did say that at one point decluttering can be borderline addictive, and I fully agree to that. And from my personal experience, I will state that that is a fact. But it's kind of become a thing that sometimes people make it about numbers and say that you should have under a certain amount or whatever. You shouldn't own any of this category. You shouldn't own this. You should own this, whatever. And there's a lot of like do's and don'ts. Which I understand if you're out there looking for ideas, that can be very helpful, but I want you to know, in case you needed to hear this, that obviously there is no right and wrong way of doing it, and you might need to hold on to things that other people don't need to hold on to. And I have, from past experience, purged entire categories of items, and then within months, needed said item again, and it was one of those things that I couldn't just like up and borrow or something of the sort. And I, among many people I know, are not in the situation to just run out and purchase a completely new item of whatever it is I might need. And it's just one of those decisions you have to make where sometimes holding on to something just in case, because you know you use it a couple times every year, is better just for whatever situation it might be. So it's just about doing what feels right, which definitely bleeds into my next point, but doing what feels right for you, not feeling that you have to completely abide by a do and don't list. You don't have to hit a number if you don't want to. It's just don't put yourself in a situation, if you, especially a lot of people, aren't in a situation they can just run out and buy something new. If you aren't in that situation, really heavily think about things. And last point, which I basically said multiple times in different ways throughout this entire video, is not everything you see that works for other people is going to work for you. And that feels like a very obvious statement, but I just think a lot of people imagine this picture perfect version of this lifestyle or whatever lifestyle you're trying to achieve, and not every detail of someone else's life is going to fit for you. And for whatever reason that may be, whatever living situation you're in, whatever your lifestyle is, whatever it is, not everything's gonna work for you. And there's gonna be people who are like, I did this, 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 and this, and that's how I got this perfect life that I currently have. And you might look at that and want it, but it might not realistically work for you, again, for whatever reason that may be. Understand that people who post about this kind of stuff online have this very, very aesthetically pleasing look to it, and it doesn't always look like that. Again, I like to say that I have minimal and simple practices that I apply to my life and my belongings, but by no means, anyone who saw my life would not think in a million years that I have that lifestyle, and I do not think or state that I have that lifestyle, but I have just heavily kept that in mind when I have my items, when I'm looking to purchase something new, when whatever the situation may be. So that is all. I hope that kind of made sense. I know that kind of blabbered a lot, but those are 5 things that I think people should really try and keep in mind, and things I've had to remind myself over the years as I kind of dive in and out of these topics and learning about them and trying to use them in my own life. These are topics that I really want to start to talk more about and somehow use more on my channel, because it is really where I'm interested to kind of move my life in this direction. And that can mean in many different ways, and largely I'm always interested in reusing and getting value out of the items you own. So I hope in the future to do DIYs and things of the sense, and repurposing, and kind of different like tips and tricks and things you can easily learn to do yourself so that you can be more self-sufficient and better for your wallet, for the planet, so that you aren't, you know, just having to run out and buy something when you can probably do something yourself or live without it. So those are things that I really like to learn about and read about. So if there's anything along that topic that you would like to talk about, hear about, listen to, see, leave me your comments down below. How do you feel about all of this? I mean, I know some people can kind of feel a little overwhelmed by all of it. It's a lot. Like I said, I feel like I'm in the very beginning stages, and I've been studying and trying to implement this on and off for about 4.5 years now. It's a crazy process. So, and it's crazy because it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So that is all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.